Hey there, it's Johanna, and my question for you today is, what do you want? And I think many of us, we draw lines around what it's okay to want and what it isn't, and we worry that if we cross that line, that means we're selfish, we're greedy, we're arrogant, we're presumptuous, we're a burden, we're threatening in some way. And so the question becomes a little more, well, what am I allowed to want? And I have this card that has lived on my desk for the past few years, and it says, "You are allowed to want it all. You are allowed to want even more." And it's from a mentor of mine, Kate. And, sometimes that message, it just feels like this permission that I've been waiting for. And a lot of the time, I still have a hard time really believing that it's true. So today I want to remind you and remind myself, we are allowed to want. You are allowed to want things that are just for you. And you are allowed to want things for other people. You are allowed to want things that could ripple out and just change the world. You are allowed to want things that maybe seem out of reach. You're allowed to want things you already have. You are allowed to want things that other people have. You're even allowed to want things that conflict with what other people want. You're allowed to want things that you might not get. You're allowed to want things that deep down aren't actually right for you. You're allowed to want things that seem frivolous. You're allowed to want things that feel weighty or presumptuous. You're allowed to want an exciting life or a quiet life. You are allowed to want something different than what you wanted yesterday. Because here's the thing, wanting is not inherently selfish. If we deny our desires and are afraid to identify and name what we want, that doesn't make us not want those things. It just keeps them hidden and makes it harder for us to move towards what's true. Because we get to decide what we do with our wants. We get to choose which desires we are going to pursue. And we get to decide what we are willing to do in order to get what we want. And I think it's just so much harder to make those decisions if we're not even clear what we actually want. And it's okay if you need some practice with knowing what you want. Some of us need a lot of practice with this. That's definitely true for me. I want to acknowledge that it can be really uncomfortable, and we can have all these feelings come up around what is it okay to want? Will I get what I want? Just, it can bring some stuff up. But for today, can we maybe try to, instead of just shoving down what we want in order to try to make those feelings go away, can we consider, okay, this feels really uncomfortable. What do I need to be able to stay with myself and sit with the discomfort of this so that I can, take a step closer to getting clear about what I really want? And again, if you're out of practice, it's okay if you don't know what you want 5 years from now, or if you can't name a single big, audacious goal. What about right in this moment? What is something you want, even if it's just tiny? What is something you want? All right, leave a comment and let me know. And I'll be back with more soon. In the meantime, remember, you can trust yourself and you're allowed to want things.